Nice. Keep that in. We should keep this in.
Sorry.
That's fine. Keep that in, yeah.
With a crashing desire, somebody's on fire. Well, I'm still breathing to this perfume on my smoke decay. When somebody's on fire, children only are liars. Who is every last feeling burning away?
Hi everyone, this is Steph, and today we're here, as you can see, with LostAlone. We're in their tour bus and we're going to interview them. Hi guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Fine. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Stephen, vocals and guitar.
Hi, I'm Alan, bass guitar and backing vocals.
I'm Mark, drums and backing vocals.
Okay guys, so you're touring with My Chemical Romance. How is the tour going?
Yeah, I mean, for me it's probably the best tour we've ever done. Just in terms of the actual shows, the audience, being with My Chem, who are great guys, and yeah, just brilliant.
Are you having fun? How long have you been touring?
This is about the third week, maybe? Fourth week? 3 or 4 weeks now, so it's kind of, the start seems really long time ago.
Yeah.
Like Wembley seems ages ago.
Yeah, I know, I was there. I remember that.
I remember you, yeah.
But how is like the public responding to your music? Because you know you're supporting a band which is really famous. So how basically people come to see them and then listen to your music and they get into you. How do you live that? Do you like the fact that you're like getting this opportunity to get known?
Yeah, I mean it's really how the game works. Really, like that's the best way to have the opportunity to, you know, if we came to Milan on our own, we'd play to like 100 people,
yeah,
and that'd be amazing. But the fact that we're about to have our new album out and we get to go around Europe with a band who some shows are playing to like 14,000 people, it's brilliant. So and also for me, I love the kind of test of most of these places. 90% of the audience don't know who we are, and so I love seeing people's faces kind of like, what is this? And some of them kind of hate it, or some of them are like, yes.
Do you look at people in the crowd while you're playing and look at their reactions?
Yeah, I kind of for the first song I always keep my eyes closed.
Okay.
And I just want to make sure it's perfect.
When you were playing in Wembley?
Yeah, well, Wembley I've kept the whole
I noticed that.
Yeah. That's no reflection on the Wembley audience. We were just rubbish at that show. Yeah, the crowd reaction is what it's about, what touring's about, and especially nowadays with things like Twitter and all the Facebook stuff. Instantly, when you come off stage, you've got the feedback, so you know if people like it, and it's really obvious the shows that are amazing because you'll come off stage and it's just on Twitter, amazing and all this, and we love that,
I saw you tweeting a lot, and people like it because they like seeing bands that are close to them, close to fans, and like
for me,
it's like you're one of them.
Yeah,
there's
no
upper level.
For us, there's no divide. It's like we'll go into it more when we have the album out, but it's really what it's all about for us is that we are kind of a select group of people that all we've got the same common interest. You, us, we all live for music.
Yeah.
And that's why I think there's nothing better than being able to directly talk to the people who just saw you on things like Twitter, and then things like when we meet people like we did earlier today. That's the best part.
I think that's one of the things that your fans, even when you get far and you get more famous, they will always remember that you have this connection with your fans, because that's what really matters. I can tell you because I am a fan and I really appreciate that.
Well, yeah, we appreciate having fans. It's great. Yeah.
And so you spent a great part of 2009 and 2010 recording your new album. We already heard this song is Paradox on Earth, which is the first single. But how the whole album will be like?
It's Paradox. The level of quality of Paradox in terms of the recording is what the album's like. It's really high. We've moved up a level in terms of the quality of the record. The album's, I think, like Saying Hello to the World, is varied again, where you've got there's a couple of the heaviest songs we've ever done, and then there's some really quiet moments, and then I just think for me personally as a songwriter, it's just better songs. That's how I feel. The songs.
That's how you feel about the album.
Yeah, it's just a better album, and then the one we make after this will be better.
How would you describe it? Like, I never heard it. Like, describe me your album.
Just a ridiculous amount of vocals.
Okay.
Like it's ridiculous. Just more defined. It's more what I've had in my head all these years. Say No to the World, which we love. We really love that album. It was started off as making demos, and then it became an album. This was the first time we had an opportunity to actually go in the studio knowing we were making a record. So there's definitely more of a cohesion to it. So it kind of starts and ends how I wanted it to.
So you would say that this album represents you better?
Yeah, it definitely represents us now. I think like every album that you make is a time capsule of where you're at. And Say No to the World, if I look at it, I can see certain things. You know, like Standing on the Ruin. I wrote that in Rome, and I can remember exactly where I was, the whole place. So, you know, things like that. This album, there's songs where I remember where I wrote them, and yeah, it definitely represents LostAlone from the last kind of year and a half. And I've already written songs for the next album, which are kind of being written now, you know, and it definitely will be out a lot sooner, you know, as in there won't be a big gap again.
And when is going to be out, the album?
And
what's the name of it?
I can't tell you either.
Oh, no.
Only because I'm going to tell the album title on the forum.
Okay.
So that everyone at one time will know it. But I'll make sure I'll give you a tip before, so you know.
You can tweet me.
Yeah, I will do, yeah.
Okay.
And we don't know the release date. It is going to be in the next few months. People seem to think it's going to be ages away, but you know, we signed to a major label now, and now in America, and it's quite strange because we didn't sign in England. We went to America, signed. We're signed everywhere, but we signed in America, so it's all kind of happening now. We will find out a release date any day now.
So you're like discovering this process.
Yeah.
Okay. And so are you planning a tour when the album will be out?
Yeah, we definitely, as far as we're concerned, we won't stop touring now. We're talking to our agents and everyone about just coming straight back round every place we went.
And are you planning to be like touring also in America, United States?
Yeah, well, like we just said, because we're signed there, it's a strange thing. Normally English bands don't go to America until they're successful in England. Whereas because we're signed there, we're going to be doing a lot of work in America. But it's definitely a thing where we can fly. You know, we could be in Italy for 2 days and then go to America for like 3 weeks and then be in. You know, we want to work.
Away from the scene for a while, and as you say several times, I read your blog, so you say several times that it's like weird playing after a long time you haven't been doing it. But how do you feel when you're on a stage, and do you feel changed from the person and the group you were before?
I feel like this is a different band. Like really, I mean, I'm really loving playing the few new songs we're doing. But what's been exciting to me is on stage it feels so different. Like I can't describe it. And again, going to the reaction, people who are like yourself, who have been into our band for years, people have been saying like it's really a lot better. And we were kind of like, God, were we rubbish before? You know, like. But it's kind of like people are like, no, it's really sounding good now.
But I can tell the difference between like before and now. You seems like really more self-confident.
Yeah. Like
self-conscious of your music, of what you're playing and what you want to communicate to people.
I think it's because of, like I said, it's the new songs, the new belief in the band. We feel like really strongly that, like, I think that, like you mentioned earlier, there is a thing of sometimes when you play with other bands, you can feel intimidated by the audience. Whereas we've just done a full 360 on that, which is, I go out there now every night just going, you are all about to get it. You know what I mean? It's like seriously, and they're like, you know, it's really exciting. To have that kind of reaction, so I think it's great.
So it's like totally a new beginning for you. This break you took, it's like you built up a new LostAlone. Yeah,
totally. For me, it does feel like a different band, and that's not to discard the old album or anything and what we built up there, but this feels like a totally new chapter for us.
Okay, that's great. Like, I'm sure it's going to be like a great chapter.
Yeah, the best chapter.
At the beginning of this year, you released the video which is Following a Sword.
Yeah.
And you said it was a part of a overall piece which is called We Exist as Shadows.
Yeah.
Like what's that?
It's just, well, basically I've written like for this album, I think like 123 songs, and obviously the album's got 12 on it. So like there's a lot of material.
You should put more.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Yeah, definitely. I think when you sign to a major label, you have to pick your battles, and you know it's amazing having the mechanics of the label, but also it is you can't just release a quadruple, you know, prog epic as you first release. If this does well, then we'll probably get that chance. But for this album, we just wanted to make the best kind of hard-hitting record. But yeah, the We Exist as Shadows thing is just a name I've got for because they all fit into a kind of theme.
And how did you choose the one that get on the record? Like, did you choose them for how could the public like them?
No, it was
something you wanted to say.
The way that we did this album was different to before, whereas I used to write a song and then go to the rehearsal room, and that'd be the first time we'd hear it. On this record, I went into like my own studio at home for like 2.5 months and just wrote songs of it and recorded them fully, and then I'd give them to Alan and Mark, and then they'd learn them, and then we'd go and play them, and it was instantly obvious the songs that felt like us all playing them suddenly had a real vibe about them, and it just became really obvious. And then we were clever about letting the record label hear the songs we already knew we loved, so it wasn't like there was no pressure from the label. Also, Gerard from My Chem is kind of executive producing the record, so quite.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, yeah, quite early on in the process, I sent him all the demos and we talked about stuff, and but yeah, he was just a real like encouraging ear. He just loved every song we sent. So
he's a fan of yours.
Yeah, we're a fan. You know, we mutually like each other's music, and we also both love Iron Maiden and Queen. So we like a lot of the same kind of things. But yeah, so a kind of mixture of all that, and then the final stage was the producer. We had 2 producers for this album: a guy called Greg Wells and a guy called Jackknife Lee. Jackknife Lee has done like Weezer and before us he did REM, so he does like real big bands.
Yeah.
And Greg Wells does Katy Perry and Mika, and when we heard that mentioned first, we were a bit like, that's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But he rang me up and we had a great chat, and the guy's a genius, and he is actually from the rock world. You know, like he's into rock, and he's an absolute genius. And the recordings with him we did are just amazing.
So they supported you, like they didn't like put you pressure or like some schemes to follow.
It was the most freedom I've ever felt in music, because the 2 producers we had, you know, they're big producers, and you go in there kind of feeling a bit nervous, and then you realise they're doing it because they love your band, so it's exciting.
That's weird, because usually you don't expect that. When you sign to a big label, you expect them to like tell you what to do, and you just like make music how they tell you to do it.
No, we got a great A&R guy, Craig Aronson.
That's great.
He's a great guy.
It's like they sign you because like they already like your music and they've heard demos and stuff. So yeah, there's no pressure to like, go down a certain path.
That's great. Well, I'm so happy you did, of course, because I hope to see you grow and grow and grow.
Yeah, it's exciting.
But I really I was worried when I like read that you were signing. I was afraid that LostAlone were going to lose a little bit of their genuine side.
Yeah.
But I'm happy you didn't.
No, that'll never happen.
It's just gonna get more extreme, I think.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
See, we do things like this all day. We like this. You know, this is what's fun.
Yeah.
So like that's not going to stop.
That's cool.